Welcome to the class of drug discovery and drug design. Dear students, today we are going to discuss about the technologies which are used in the drug discovery process. So in the last class we have discussed about the steps of the drug discovery process. So now here we will discuss about what are the different technologies that are used at the different steps, like target identification, target validation. So here you can see in this figure genomics, proteomics and biopharm. Okay, so these are the different technology. These are different branches which involve the different methods that are used, that are helpful in the target identification and validation. So genomics play an important role in the target identification. In this branch we identify the genes and function of the gene using the computational tool. Which gene is involved in the disease and what are the proteins that are encoded by the gene. Okay, so because gene encode the proteins and that play an important role in the disease. That proteins are the functional. Proteins means generally these act as an enzymes. So enzyme play a very important role in any pathway or any process, and in fact in the disease process also. So in the genomics branch there are also two different branches, structural genomics and functional genomics. In structural genomics we identify the features of the genes like intron, exon, transcription start site, transcription unit, which transcription unit is involved in the production of the protein, in the transcription of the protein, then the translation of the protein. And there are some promoter sites also, regulatory sites that is involved in the regulation of the gene, because gene regulation is also important in the disease process. Okay, if the gene is a defective, gene is producing the defective protein that is involved in the disease, so we can do the gene therapy and another kind of treatment. So genomics study is important. So genomics technologies are important. So for this we use the different types of tool like GenScan, and there are the many more tools, and there are the certain databases also like EMBL, GeneBank and DDBJ. Another technique, another branch is a branch of bioinformatics that is called proteomics, in which we study the set of proteins that are involved with the pathway or tissue or any process. So that is called the proteome, the set of proteins. So these may be related to the gene and disease process. So we need to identify these proteins in pathway. What is the specific function of the protein, that then only you can target that protein. So for the target identification it is important. Okay, which protein is involved in the disease process. So it is very important to identify. So there are the different technologies by which we can identify the proteins. So in the proteomics we use the wet lab experiment plus computational tool also. So there are the different methods of proteomics like electrophoresis, SPS, 2D PACE, stratification, chromatography. We identify the particle protein, we separate the proteins, then we identify the proteins using different methods of the chromatography like high performance liquid chromatography and different methods. Then these methods are combined with the mass spectrometric analysis. So combination of these technologies are used, the combined. So that is also known as, this branch is also known as analytical proteomics, in which we use the different technology with the the merged technology. Like mass spectrometry we combine with the different chromatography or electrophoresis. Okay. So one of the example is LC-MS, like liquid chromatography with mass spectrometry. So in the electrophoresis also we identify the protein on the basis of molecular weight and isoelectric point. So this occur in the 2 dimension, so that is known as STS2D PACE. So using that techniques we separate the protein, then we identify the protein, because gel map is compared with the gel map that is already stored in the database. There are on the XPACE website STS PACE database are available. The scan is available and we can do the comparison. So in the same way, mass scan from the mass spectrometry also it can be compared to the already stored scan map of mass spectrometry. So different mass spectra can also be compared. So in the mass spectrometry we identify the fragments of the protein, the short fragments, because the whole sequence cannot be analyzed at once. So in the mass spectrometry the short proteins are sequenced on the basis of the molecular mass. Okay. Then mass spectra is produced, that spectra is scanned against the databases, the mass spectra that are already stored in the databases. So we can easily find out the different tools that are available on the XPACE website. In the biopharmaceutical sciences, we study the different, means more about the drugs. So means how the drug impact our body, human body, animal body. So it is helpful when we carry out the clinical trial also. So before trying on to the human object, we test the drug on the animals. So but we need to know, we need to study about. So before that because in your curriculum also you study about the different like processes and human anatomy and physiology also. So that is very useful. Means how the drug impact on our physiology and anatomy. So sometimes it should not have any drawbacks. To avoid any reasonable risk, we need to study about the human anatomy and physiology. Then we study the pharmacokinetics, we study the different processes in pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics, means how the drug impact our body and how our body responds to the drug. So that is very important. So this all we study in the biopharmaceutical sciences. So the name has been given because our focus is the living being. How the drug interact with the human body and how the human body responds to the drug. Okay. Then after analyzing, after identification of the target, when we have already identified the targets from the pathogenic bacteria and pathogenic viruses, it can be anything, protozoans also, fungi. So we have already identified the drug targets and validated the target using the genomics, proteomics and biopharmaceutical techniques. Then we come to the high throughput screening. This is also the method that we can say proteomics. Okay. So microarray technology is very useful in this. The high throughput screening means we are screening the large number of compounds in a day for the activity against the target proteins. So target proteins we have already isolated using the proteomics methods. So we have another lecture on the proteomics method. You can watch it on the YouTube, how we isolate the protein, how we identify the protein. So in the high throughput screening, we use the proteins that is treated with the drug. So with the help of that, we create the protein microarray. So that is very useful. Using the protein microarray, we can screen the 100,000 compounds in a day, and we can find out if this a drug is active or not. If the spot, so there on the microarray there are the different spot intensity is used to measure the activity. So you can watch the lectures on the microarray also. You know the intensity, we have already discussed about it, intensity and expression ratio. Okay, so expression ratio is RK by GK, TK is equal to RK by GK. So we can see the intensity. If the intensity is more, that means the drug shows the more activity. So microarray technology is very helpful in this high throughput screening. High throughput means we are giving the input of means a large number of compounds. These are the probable drug compounds, and we are trying to identify the active molecules, the active ingredients. This work against the disease target protein or not. So this among these compounds, few compounds will show the activity against the target. So those compounds can be identified, and then we can work more. So now then we proceed for the virtual screening after identification of the. So we can also perform the virtual screening before the high throughput screening, because the high throughput screening using the microarray, if we are carrying out the wet lab experiment, that will cost high. If you are doing the screening within the computer, it will cost less. And means if you do the pre-screening with the help of virtual screening, means computational methods, then you proceed for the any wet lab experiment. So that will be helpful. That will reduce the cost of the drug discovery process. So virtual screening you can carry out before the high throughput screening also. Okay. But already we have the drug compounds, so many drug compounds, like in the zinc databases we have the compound that the people have already, scientists, researchers have already stored. So you can also select the compound from there, then you can screen those compounds and lead compound that against the different targets, against a particular targets. So initially you should know for which disease you want to find out the drug, or you should identify the disease like corona or any other thing, any other disease. So we should have a problem. To solve any problem, we should know what is the problem. We should identify a disease. So these techniques are helpful. Genomics, proteomics, and pharmaceutical sciences. These are the different technologies that are used in the identification of these. Then we proceed for the drug development. Then we identify the lead molecule that against these targets. So here we can use the virtual screening. We can use the already discovered compound that are stored in the databases, or the virtual molecules that are available on the zinc databases, or okay. So you can screen those compounds against the target using the computer. So there are the different tools, computational tools that can be used. We have the online tools also like Hex. We have different software also like Autodock that can be used for the docking. Using the docking process, we can also screen the molecules. And virtual screening is also done using the more number of compound in the large number. The large number of compound can be screened. So first of all, there was one project that is called Lifesaver Screensaver project. In that project, the several molecules are screened against the target for the pancreatic cancers. So what they have done, they have used the ideal memory of the different computers. So they have combined the different computers, and they have used the ideal memory of the computers using the parallel processing. So we have the memory in each computer that can be used to screen the large number, because at that time we didn't have the efficient computers. Previously we do not have the efficient computer. Now we have the computer with the advanced processor and more memory. So now virtual screening is more easy than the previous, like the 80s, 90s, or so. Okay, now we are able to screen more number of compounds. Okay, so this step is very helpful, and this we study in the computer aided drug designing, that is a branch of bioinformatics. So in the bioinformatics we use the different kind of study. You should have target, you should have identified target, then only you can screen the large number of compounds. Okay. So virtual screening means that is occurring in the computer virtually. It is not actual. Okay. So but it is very helpful in the reduction of cost. It will reduce the cost. What we have discussed, the cost is more, like you have seen here. previously we have discussed, there is the means 1000 to 1500 million US dollars are used per drug. So this cost is very high. To reduce this cost, the virtual screening step is very helpful. This will minimize the cost. This can minimize the cost if you do it carefully. Combinatorial chemistry, this is one branch in which we use the different combination of the chemicals and we produce the different types of drug. Like we have used the two chemical, then we are producing the third type of drug, like using the A and B as a reagent, we are producing the product C and D. Then again the C and D can be combined with the different molecules and can be used to, okay, so that we combine the different regions, different molecules, chemical molecules which can act as drug, or the already working, or we may have identified the already active molecules. So active molecule we can combine the different ratio, it can work for the another disease. So using the different ratio, so this is ratio of the different molecules. So this is known as combinatorial chemistry. This we do in the rapidly producing vast number of compounds. So there are the combinatorial libraries also that is available online. So you can see the different compounds in the database. You can take them to screen against the target. So that all we do in the combinatorial chemistry is very helpful, because we have already designed the molecules using the different combination of the chemical drugs. So that may be helpful. So in the virtual screening we can use the molecules that is generated by the combinatorial chemistry. So resin is also used. The resin, or we pass the reagent over a resin A or B, then we again pass the reagent C or D or different reagents over a resin. So this is what we do in the combinatorial chemistry. Then we find a drug that is again active against the target with the help of virtual screening. Molecular modeling also play an important role in this molecular graphics molecule. Okay, because we use the tools like visualization tool like PyMol and different tools. So before using the visualization tool, we should have the X-ray structure. We should have the structure of the molecular proteins or drugs. So using the X-ray, using the different techniques, NMR method, we determine the structure of protein and drug using the NMR method also. So in the PDB we have the 80% data that is obtained from the X-ray and 60% data that is obtained from the NMR, and there are the other methods also. So that all the information is saved in the structure file, then it is submitted to the PDB. So from there you can isolate you can retry the compound. We have the another database also, CSD, that is Cambridge Structure Database. You can look for the different types of molecule. We have the different databases like PubChem and Drug Bank also. You can isolate, you can retrieve the structure of the drugs from the Drug Bank and PubChem, and all the information related to the function and structure of the drug compound or the molecule, any molecule, chemical molecule that can work as a drug. So if from the gene bank you can retrieve the structure of the molecule that can be probable drug, because these are virtual molecules. So from the PubChem you can retrieve the structure of the molecule that are already working as a drug. We are using those molecules as a drug. The drug bank contains the information about the drug testing, ADME properties, about everything. Okay, we have already done it in computer. So what we do in the molecular modeling, we analyze the structure, like these are shown in the different color. Red means oxygen or blue means nitrogen. So this all we can visualize using the visualization tool. Any structure file is can be visualized using the visualization tool, that is PyMol. PyMol is one of them. So PyMol can be used for the structure visualization. We can identify the structure. We can also We can visualize the complex structure of the molecule, like protein is how the drug compound is docked with target molecule, protein molecule. So we can visualize the complex structure also. We can identify the interaction among the drug and protein compound. You can identify the hydrogen bond interaction, ionic interaction, different types of interaction. There are so many tools that can be used for identification of the interactions also, like van der Waals interactions, hydrogen bond interactions, electrostatic interaction. These interactions play an important role in the drug binding, how the drug bind to the protein molecule, target molecule. So that is very important. Okay. So using the molecular modeling analysis, we can identify the active molecules, active drug molecules. So definitely these drugs, these chemicals will have more potency and more efficacy, and this will reduce the cost also, because we are working using computational tool. We are working in the computer, then we can identify the few molecules that can be synthesized, that can be uh, further processed for preclinical testing and clinical trial, because clinical trial takes lot of experimental cost. Its cost is very high. To reduce that cost, the in silico ADME models are very useful. So in the preclinical testing, we need the laboratory testing, or we need the reagents, we need to do the wet lab experiment, that cost very high. Before proceeding for the preclinical testing, we can use the in silico ADME models, and we can do the virtual screening. So these technologies are very helpful in the reduction of the cost, because in the last lecture we have discussed about the cost. This cost is very high. We have to reduce this cost. So we need to look wherever we can use the computational tool to reduce this cost. Okay. So preclinical testing. So after the preclinical testing, then we proceed for the clinical trials. So these are the drug discovery technologies. We have discussed about the target identification. For the target identification, we use genomics, gene expression profiling, and proteomics method. What technologies are used? We have already discussed about this. Now target validation, then we validate the target, means there can be multiple target. We are trying to identifying the potential target, then we validate the target. So this is performed using gene knockout inhibition assay, means we inhibit particular molecule, or we eradicate the, like among the 5 targets we eradicate the 4 targets, or we eradicate one by one. Like among the 5 target we can eradicate one target one by one. Okay, so then only we can check which molecule, which target is actually working, which target should be inhibited. Okay, so one by one we can inhibit all of them at once also. Like if there are the 5 targets, we inhibit all of them, all 5 targets. Okay, then we can see which one is working, which one is inhibited. Or we can also do some kind of analysis, like we can eradicate one by one by doing the gene knockout. If we take them out from the, like mouse or any model organism, so we can take out those and we can check which gene is causing the disease. So this can be only done if we eradicate one by one, if we knock out the gene one by one. So then which one will be left, and that is causing symptom of the disease, that will be responsible for the disease. So in that way we can validate the target, we can remove one by one. This is the backward approach, and we can analyze one by one. We can analyze one gene at one time, then second gene at second time. Okay, so knockout means we are eradicating, we are taking out the one gene. Okay, then we are analyzing the effect, then we then the inhibition assay. And we are doing the inhibition also, okay, that which gene is responsible and which protein is responsible. In the lead identification, so we identify using this method, high throughput screening, fragment based screening, combinatorial library. We try to identify the lead molecule which actually work that can work against the targets. In the high throughput screening also we consider large number of compound. In the combinatorial library also we consider large number of compound is generated using the different combination of the same reagents or different regions. So there is a diverse library of the similar compound, diversity in the similar compounds. That is that method. So from which we can identify the lead molecules. Lead molecule means active molecules that can work against the target. Fragment based screening is also done. We can also take the fragments of the active drugs, the fragment that work against the target. The different fragments can work against the target. So we can take the fragments of the already discovered drugs and we can screen those fragments against the targets. That can also be done. Okay, so this can be done. In this we can take the help of computer also. So we take the help in the target identification, validation, lead identification. We use the computational tools. Lead optimization, suppose there are more number of compound and what we need, it is according to our objective or not, if it meets the criteria of binding or not, this will work or not. So this is called lead optimization. When we set the our objective, the drug, the chemical is working according to that or not. So this is called optimization. We do some modification, we do the analysis, we use the QSAR method, ADME profiling. We check for the bioavailability. The drug molecule has the bioavailability or not. It should, if the molecule is active, it may happen, it doesn't have any bioavailability. If there is no bioavailability, this will not work against the target. Even it has the activity also against the target. So we have to, this is called optimization. Then we have to increase the bioavailability of the drug that we have discovered. We have to increase. If the drug is active but it doesn't show the bioavailability, that means there are certain other factors like Lipinski rule, 5 molecular weight, hydrogen bond donor, hydrogen bond acceptance. So there are different rules. So it needs to be checked. That is called lead optimization. We need to change that molecule so that it should have the proper ADME profile to meet the criteria of the working. Means the drug may work against the target. So it should be bioavailable also. Bioavailability should be there. Preclinical, in the preclinical phase we do the pharmacodynamic analysis and pharmacokinetic analysis. This also involves the ADME analysis like absorption, distribution, metabolism, excretion, and toxicity testing is also done through animals. So for the toxicity testing we use the animal testing. Okay, so I have previously told you in the preclinical phase we do the testing on the animals. So before that we do the some kind of analysis, pharmacodynamics and pharmacokinetic analysis. Okay. Then we proceed for the clinical phase trials, that is actually carried out on the human patient. Okay, because that are facing the life-threatening disease like AIDS and different disease, or the old age patients. So on which this can be used. So this was all about. So preclinical phase, now you know. Now you have the clear concept of the different steps. So these are the different steps in which we use the different kinds of method. Now in the coming classes we will discuss about the QSAR, ADME, in details. And there are the different methods: high throughput screening, fragment based. So these are various methods. Today we have discussed about the introductory aspect of this technology. Okay. Now lecture is over. The lecture will be uploaded on the YouTube